Hello, everybody, and welcome to your weather forecast. My name is Mr. G. I am your meteorologist, and this is Elite Weather, and you are watching Your Weather Today. And as we talk about the weather today, we got a lot of crazy things going on out there. And one area of concern is the excessive heat in the Pacific Northwest, where it's actually hotter in Spokane, Washington, and some of the towns out there in the Pacific Northwest, especially on the leeward side of the Cascade Mountain Range, where temperatures are approaching 110 and in some places as much as 115 in far northern California. So very hot across the Pacific Northwest. It's actually hotter than the desert Southwest and the state of Texas right now. So the hot spot in the nation is the Pacific Northwest, which is very unusual, as well as the amount of rainfall that's fallen across portions of the Appalachian Mountain Range and through the mid-Mississippi Valley, the Central Plains, and the Four Corners in the desert Southwest, where we're seeing a lot of monsoon storms in action and some very heavy rainfall that's leading to some flash flooding issues. As you all know, a couple of days ago, we had that flood issue in Missouri, where they saw over 2 months worth of rain in a 6-hour period. So definitely some record breaking weather events taking place this week. So right now, let's move on with your weather today and take a look at the weather today. And the one thing in the weather today is the watches and hazards for right now, and that heat across the portions of the Pacific Northwest. Here we are on the leeward side of the Cascades, so the Spokane Valley and some of the valleys here through the northwestern section of the nation through Oregon and Washington. We are seeing those temperatures in excess of 110 degrees in some locations. So we have that excessive heat warning in place across the Pacific Northwest, as well as a heat advisory for portions of Washington, Oregon, Idaho, Nevada, and far northern California. We have our flooding situation through the desert Southwest and into the Four Corners and over into portions of the Central Plains. So we are seeing those monsoon storms produce a lot of heavy rainfall. Very unusual weather for this time of the year to see that much coming from the monsoons and all of those issues with flooding and more flooding portions of the West Virginia here, where we're seeing some heavy rain and some flooding into portions of the Appalachian Mountain Range, and then it's a severe thunderstorm watch into portions of the interior of the New England states in the northeast there. We're also seeing that heavy rainfall and a heat advisory through portions of the mid-Atlantic states and the Piedmont area of North Carolina and into Lake Cape Hatteras. We're seeing a lot of heat as well. And that is a look at the watches and hazards across the nation right now. Now let's talk about our radar mosaic as we look at the rain that's taking place over many areas of the nation, especially here in the desert Southwest. We see our monsoons in place, a lot of rainfall in the Phoenix area, Tucson. It's getting those showers and storms today. Very wet weather conditions and kind of unusual for you folks down there, as you typically average about 6 to 8 inches a year. You're going to be getting that probably this week alone. So a lot of rain down in the desert Southwest through New Mexico as well, and into portions of Colorado. We're seeing a lot of rain showers and storms this afternoon, and also through the Central Plains, through portions of the middle Mississippi Valley. There's the Mississippi River there, so we got Missouri and Arkansas, yet seeing heavy rainfall. Now, St. Louis does not need any more rain because they did pick up almost 10 inches of rain this week as it is, and getting more rain today. And we'll probably see more rain again tomorrow, as we have a stubborn frontal boundary that's kind of hanging out through this portion of the nation here, and there are minor disturbances traveling along this frontal boundary. So these impulses or short waves of low pressure are going to be contributing to that heavy rainfall, and we're also seeing more of those showers and storms move through portions of the Appalachian mountain range and into the northeastern areas of America. And we have more showers and storms along the Gulf Coast. And this is the result of the tropical moisture coming in off of the Gulf that's interacting and being lifted by the coastline of the southern United States there. So we're going to be seeing a lot of those showers and storms this afternoon as well. So a very busy day out there across portions of the United States. And then here's another interesting thing that's taking place. We're seeing these little spotty showers here through portions of northern Minnesota, and that is because of some moisture that's in place, but much cooler weather conditions. So it's causing that condensation to spark these showers here, these pop-up popcorn showers we call them, but they're not severe, and they're not there's not much in the way of thunderstorm activity with those, but those are little pop-up showers in the coolness of the afternoon when it should be about 90 degrees right now, but it's really in the 70s. So actually that's not a bad problem to have across the Pacific, the northern plains there in Minnesota. So let's take a look at the temperatures that's going on out there across America right now. We're seeing our heat across Texas, and actually Texas is a little bit cooler. So we're seeing Texas cool off a little bit. Many locations are in the upper 90s. Only a few spots are in the triple digit range. So we got a 102 in the Fort Worth area, 102 over here in Abilene. Wichita Falls is going to be about 105. So that's the hot spot of the state of Texas right now. It's usually like San Angelo, but San Angelo is about 101 this afternoon. So we're seeing a little bit cooler weather across the state of Oklahoma and into the state of Texas. A little cooler across the southeast as well, as we got a lot of clouds around, a lot of showers and storms right along the Gulf Coast here. So we're going to see a little bit cooler weather, temperatures in the lower 90s along the southeast, and we're going to be seeing those mid 90s through portions of the mid south here through the Carolinas and parts of Georgia. We're going to be seeing those temperatures there, and we're going to be seeing, look at this very comfortable weather across the northern tier of the nation. So the upper Midwest and the Great Lakes, you look at those 70s. We're seeing all of those 70s, very low 80s, really nice weather across the northern plains. Wow, check that out. That is very nice weather for this time of the year. But the problem is going to be in the Pacific Northwest, and we're going to take a closer look at that in just a moment here. And on this map, here we are with taking a closer look. Look at those temperatures. Spokane, 103 degrees. This is Moose Lake in Washington, and we're seeing 110. So it's very hot. 110. We got us 101 here in Oregon. Look at this, 115 in Northern California. This is Mount Shasta, just south of Mount Shasta. 115 degrees. Medford, Oregon, 111. So we're seeing it's very hot out there. But look at the Portland, 98. So you have here we are with a 98 in Seattle as well. So we're approaching that triple digit temperature in Portland and Seattle, but it's really hot on the other side of the Cascade Mountain Range. So it is really hot, very hot. Look at that, Boise, Idaho at 102, 109 here in southern Washington along the Idaho border there. So it is really hot out there across the Pacific Northwest. And I know some of the farmers here have been struggling with drought conditions this year, so they're also now dealing with some obnoxious heat, as there's a lot of onion and potato farms in this region. So, man, you guys really need some help out there. And the next few days, at least through Sunday, the weather is going to be absolutely miserable in the Pacific Northwest. And we're going to take a look at what they're talking. Now, I think this is a little bit lower than it should. I think it should be very high here. The National Weather Service has that heat risk as high, but we're seeing those temperatures from the upper 90s to about 115 degrees in some locations. So very hot across portions of the Pacific Northwest. We're talking south central Washington, central Oregon, and northeastern Oregon through Sunday. So through Sunday, that heat is going to continue across portions of the Pacific Northwest. Here's your weather forecast for the next 3 days. And as we take a look at, we try to finish out this Thursday, we're seeing a lot of rainfall here through the desert southwest, through the southern Rockies, the central plains, the mid-southern Mississippi Valley, the Tennessee Valley, and the lower Appalachian mountain range as well through West Virginia. We're seeing those heavy showers and storms. Some severe weather risk up here through portions of the Northeast into New England. We're seeing those showers and storms this afternoon. Some severe weather, and that primary threat is going to be some heavy rain with some gusty winds for you guys in that region. Tornado threat is going to be low, and we're going to be seeing those showers here along the Gulf Coast. Those spotty showers here across the northern plains in the northern Minnesota, and maybe a few showers into the front range and the high plains of the Rockies here through portions of Wyoming and into central Idaho this afternoon as well. And we're going to have that heat there, really that heat bubble across the Pacific Northwest, and typical California weather for this time of the year. And here we go with tomorrow. So your Friday, that heavy rain is going to continue from the Four Corners in the desert southwest through the central plains, the middle Mississippi, the mid to lower Mississippi Valley, and into the southern Appalachian mountain range here. We're going to be seeing that heavy rain continue with those flash floodings. This flash flood, as we have this frontal boundary that's in place here, you see how much warmer it is to the south. You got that heat and humidity, and how much nicer it is behind that frontal boundary. So if you're to the north of it, very pleasant weather for you guys this weekend, especially today and tomorrow. You're going to be seeing that. You won't see the heat move to the upper Midwest until this frontal boundary moves to the east. But right now it's going to be hanging out to the west, and if you're here, you're going to be enjoying very nice weather conditions for the next couple of days. Now, as we take a look at your Saturday, we're going to still see that heavy rain from the desert southwest through the central plain states into the middle Mississippi Valley. And let me deal with my eyes here as the fan is blowing dust, making my eyes water. So, all right, so now that heavy rain and flash flooding is going to continue in this portion as our front drops a little bit further to the south, but it's going to continue its influence into this region right here, and our monsoon flow is going to continue through the desert southwest, as it's been a very wet week down there, and those monsoons have been going strong. Our heat will continue through portions of the Pacific Northwest. Pleasant weather will continue across the upper Midwest and the Great Lakes and into the Northeast. So very nice weather conditions from Maine all the way over to Minnesota and North Dakota. So good for you guys. So that was a look at the 3-day forecast. Here's a trip around the severe weather outlook today. And here we are with our radar mosaic underneath, and we are seeing that heavy rain here from the Four Corners. You saw that on the last map, how that trail just goes from the Four Corners through the central Rockies, through the central plains, and into the middle Mississippi Valley and over into the Appalachian. You see all this rainfall and then more showers along the Gulf Coast here as we're dealing with that tropical moisture off the Gulf of Mexico interacting with the landmass, and it's triggering those thunderstorms along the Gulf. Here's our line of severe storms into the Northeast today that's going to be moving toward the Boston area by this evening. You guys are going to be under the gun for a little bit of severe weather today as well. Tomorrow, we're going to be seeing some severe weather in the mid-Atlantic states and the isolated severe through portions of the Appalachians and the Mid-South once again. And what you're going to be dealing with primarily is heavy rainfall This area could see a little bit of gusty wind and maybe some small hail, and again some heavy rainfall for you folks right here in portions of North Texas. So you might see a little bit of severe weather that's going to lead to some heavy rain and gusty winds again for you folks. So that is a look at the 3-day weather forecast. My name is Mr. G, helping to keep you guys alert to the heat in the Northwest across Texas and the heavy rains from the Four Corners in the desert Southwest through the Central Plains, the mid-Mississippi Valley, and into the Appalachian mountain range. So you're going to be dealing with that heavy rain for the next several days. So that's all I have for today, guys. Thanks for watching me. Stay safe out there and do what you can to beat the heat and to stay dry if you're dealing with some of that rainfall. All right, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye-bye.